A woman scrolling through her phone at 2 a.m. saw something impossible. A creature with glowing fur, its eyes shining like tiny stars in the darkness. But what she clicked on next made her blood run cold. A documentary about women whose bodies literally glowed in the dark. Real women. Real glow, and the reason why. That's where this story gets terrifying. What if your dream job was slowly killing you and everyone knew except you? In 1917, hundreds of young American women celebrated. They landed the most glamorous jobs in town, painting watch dials with a magical glowing paint. The pay was 3 times what factory workers made. They were called the Shining Girls. Every girl in town wanted this job. There was just one technique they had to master. Lip, dip, paint. Put the brush to your lips to make a fine point. Dip it in the radium paint. Paint the tiny numbers. Lip dip paint. Hundreds of times a day. The supervisors said it was perfectly safe. They even encouraged girls to paint their nails and teeth with it for fun. It glowed at parties. But here is what they didn't say. Every time those girls touched that brush to their lips, they were swallowing poison. Pure radium. The company scientists knew. The executives knew. They just didn't tell the girls. What would you do if your body started glowing in the dark and doctors told you it was all in your head? Molly Maggia was the first. Her tooth started hurting. Then it fell out. Then another. Then all of them. Her dentist pulled one tooth and her entire jawbone came out with it. Within weeks, her jaw had a hole you could see through. And at night, when she turned off the lights, her mouth glowed green. More girls got sick. Their hair fell out. Their spines collapsed. They couldn't walk. Some died within months. When they were buried, their coffins were so radioactive that if you opened them today, nearly 100 years later, they would still glow. But here's the evil part. When these dying women went to doctors, the company had already paid those doctors off. The diagnosis? You're fine. It's just hysteria. Maybe you have syphilis, you probably got it from your boyfriend. They blamed the victims. Meanwhile, the company executives who handled the same radium, they wore lead aprons and used special tongs. They knew exactly how deadly it was. How do you fight the most powerful company in America when you're too weak to even raise your hand? Grace Fryer was dying. By 1927, she weighed 80 pounds. Her spine was crumbling. Every step was agony. She decided to sue. But there was an impossible problem. No lawyer in America would take her case. Why? Because in the 1920s, suing your employer was nearly impossible. The company had unlimited money. They had the best lawyers. They had political connections. And they had time because they knew Grace was dying. Grace searched for 2 years before finding a lawyer brave enough to help. His name was Raymond Barry. When the case finally went to court, Grace could barely stand. She couldn't raise her hand to take the oath. Her arm wouldn't lift. Her jaw had been surgically removed. When she tried to speak, the words came out garbled and broken. The company's lawyers watched her struggle, and their strategy? Delay, request postponements, file endless motions. Because every month they delayed was another month closer to Grace's death. If she died before the verdict, the case would disappear. But then something unexpected happened. A reporter attended the trial. He saw Grace, weak and dying, trying to speak her truth. He wrote about it. The story hit newspapers across America. People were outraged. How could a company do this? How could they let these women die? The public pressure became overwhelming. The company finally agreed to settle. Each surviving girl received $10,000, about $175,000 today, and lifetime medical care. It wasn't justice. It wasn't enough. But it was something. Grace Fryer died in 1933. She was 34 years old. But her fight changed everything. Because of these women, America created occupational safety laws. Workers gained the right to sue for unsafe conditions. Companies now must prove products are safe before selling them. And radiation safety standards were established. These women literally glowed in the dark, and their courage lit the way for worker protections that save millions of lives today. If you want to know the complete story of these brave women, their lives, their suffering, and their incredible fight for justice, it's all documented in the Radium Girls by Kate Moore. The link is in the description. Their story deserves to be remembered.